What is your relationship to transition? Hey y'all, welcome to season 2, episode 12 of the Prolific Shift Sunday Sit Down. I am Janae Peters. I'm the founder, CEO, so many things for Prolific Shifts right now. In this space, Prolific Shifts is for anyone who's ready to even start thinking about making a shift in their world. The main part of Prolific Shifts is for Black educators and leaders who are just looking to have space in community to build, think about, evolve skills and personal growth and personal development in all the ways that you can imagine. We're shifting all ways and in all ways. But I don't really think that's a joke, but that's what we're doing. So that's what's in this space. Today, I am so grateful to have a guest. And this is not someone who I asked to be on here, but it's someone who kind of asked me, why don't you have me on there? And, who am I to say no? So here we go. This week's question is, what is your relationship to transitions? And this question was also brought to us by our guest. So we'll go ahead and get to that part now. Okay, so for this week's Sunday Sit Down, episode 12 of season 2, I am joined by my lovely niece. And I'm excited about this. And part of it, as I said before, is that my niece was like, why am I not on your show? I want to be on your show. And I was like, all right, cool. So what we're going to talk about. And so this question is rooted in something that she's been thinking about. And so happy to be here in this space with you, niece. Are you happy?
Yeah,
All right. So this question, what is your relationship to transitions? I guess I'll start and say, like, when I think about this question, I know, like, since I was a little kid, I've always known that I value like time in between things. Like, it could be little things, it could be big things, but I always like to just take some time and settle and process and like feel grounded before moving on. And that was as true for me as going from church to my cousin's house or going from home to the babysitter's house and back, as it was in changing classes, or as it was when I moved to England, or even when I went to college. I just needed some time and space for processing. And what's interesting to me about that is that this world is not always like set up for that, right? So we live in a pretty fast-paced go, go, go world, and everybody's just like, do this, do this, do this. Why aren't you doing this? Like, clean up, blah 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 blah. And I realized that I struggle with that. So what's your relationship to transition? So when you think about that, what comes to mind for you?
me,
Yes, you. Who else is on here?
your show.
Yeah, but it's me and you.
Um,
Me and you.
I think of
Mm-hmm.
like moving houses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm right in the middle of moving.
Mm-hmm. And what's that like for you?
It's sad because if I move, I'll have to go to a whole separate middle school.
Mm.
And if I go to a whole separate middle school, then all of my friends, I'm going to be sad.
So you value like the space. So the pro of this is like you'll have a different kind of space, right?
Yeah.
But the con
And
is
the
that.
con is that I don't get to see my friends as much
Mhm.
as I do.
And so when you think about that, so you've moved before, right? So this isn't the first time you've moved,
Yeah.
and you've had to learn things anew. Like when things have gone well, what has happened? Or when things have not gone well, like what has happened?
When things have gone well, we've pretty much just moved in, created a new living space.
Mm-hmm.
But then when things go bad, like
Hello.
I know I'm thinking,
Okay.
like say like in your house there's a broken fire alarm or
Mm-hmm.
something. It's supposed to annoy you, not annoy you. Announce to you when there's a fire in the apartment, the house, basically like that.
Mm-hmm.
But um if I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. You can start over whenever you're ready. I can edit it out.
Like when your fire alarm's broken and just won't stop. Like at my apartment, the fire alarm doesn't turn off till they get here and turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like heating in the house, the fire alarm goes off.
So you're also
And
like worried about what the new house is going to be like. So it's the unknown
yeah,
too. Uh-huh.
I've never actually seen it. I've seen the outside. I've seen a little bit of the interior by the pictures, but I've never actually seen it in person before.
Mm-hmm. So you also like kind of knowing what you're getting into. So you appreciate like kind of certainty or seeing something and being able to envision it before it happens. Is that the kind of thing that works for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you think about those, or like is it the same for you like when you go to a new grade? Is it the kind of thing where that the same kind of feeling as when you move houses, or is that different?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm. And what so
And
what how do you handle that? Because you change grades every year, right?
every 2.5 years.
You change grades
Or
every
1.5 years. Yeah,
year.
every half year.
Okay. And so what
Um,
what do you do to help you in that time?
in the time that I'm on summer break, I just think about the pros and cons of going to a new grade. So I've been going on pros and cons since the first day of April.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the first time I've ever started pros and cons
Mm-hmm.
before summer, but I've been thinking about the pros and cons all the time. Like pro a pro about middle school, you will get to experience new friends.
Mm-hmm.
Con, you only have a couple minutes to switch between classes in your locker.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically like my what ifs.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it helps you to really think about your what ifs, huh? Or like to
Yeah,
start to make sense of them, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, that fits in. That helps me too, Sai. That's sorry, niece. That helps me too. That helps me because I'm often thinking about, uh, like I kind of lit my brain works in a way such that the reason I need to settle down is so I can like think about what's next and think about it in a full way. I make a lot of pros and cons list, and I really try to think about how I am or am not showing up in a space. So, for this week's action item for this question, sorry, we're going to ask the people to really evaluate the flow of their days and weeks and think about like how it feels to transition. So, for people who are in school, as you go from class to class, like think about what that feels like and what you need. Is that a good feeling? Are you okay? Is it smooth and easy? Or do you need a little more? If you're in the working world and you're going from work to home with your kids or not with your kids or wherever you're going, how does that feel for you? What do you find yourself doing? Are you a person who turns on music when you go from place to place, or do you need quiet, or is there something else that goes on for you? And as a part of that action item, I'm going to ask people to reflect on what might support or what might help them to create more supportive transitions in our worlds that are decidedly very fast paced. And maybe you like that fast pace, but again, what will support you having smoother transitions? So, Saya, when you think about this, it could be interesting as you're in school next week to think about like how it feels to move from concept to concept, right? Like, so if you're not really switching classes yet, what is it like to go from math to language arts? And like, what does it feel like for you? And what do you need?
For like language arts to math,
Mm-hmm.
language arts is like so stressful. And then when I get to math, I feel so relieved because all I have to do is this digital packet.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm relieved at the end of the day when it becomes science
Mm-hmm.
because math just takes a whole bunch out of me because I barely get any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's time to go back to my English reading and social studies room, it's like finally a break from all the schoolwork. I get to go home, chillax,
Mm-hmm.
watch TV, play games.
Mm-hmm. And the
It's basically like,
transitions at home are different for you than school?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Transitions at home are like come home, chill, eat dinner, shower, sleep, and then it goes over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. But you can predict it, so you like that. But what's tough is like so much of our world is not as predictable, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it's really good to talk to you.
definitely was.
Yeah. Anything else you want to offer?
Um, don't live your life as a schedule.
Say more about that.
Because if you live your life scheduled, how do you know? Like, there might be something that just pops up on your that's not on your schedule for life,
Mm-hmm.
and you could put out a date and stuff for that day. Like, say I planned something, I planned stuff for every day the month before it happens,
Mm-hmm.
and something terribly goes wrong. I'll have to switch up my whole entire schedule
Mm-hmm.
so I can do that one singular thing.
But you're saying that if you make space in your schedule, if your life is not so scheduled and you have spaciousness or open time, then that won't feel as much of a struggle.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I needed to hear that actually. Thank you. Are you happy?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad we got to do this together, okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you.